Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phil, the Conquistadork. I get a lot of games, mostly indies, and as a result, that opens me up to some really surprising and wonderful experiences with titles that I simply wouldn't have played otherwise. It also opens me up to a lot of crap, but what are you gonna do? In the interest of sharing my experiences, I've decided I'm going to start a monthly video where I just go through the games I've been playing that month. This way I can get the word out about some newer and sometimes older games without attempting in vain to make a review about every single one of them. Now, to be fair, some of these games I will be attempting to write full reviews on, but time being the finite resource that it is, I can't always guarantee that. So this way I can at least keep you up to date on a handful of the many games that cross my path. September's drawing to a close, and I've got more than a few games on my docket. Let's get started. Unforeseen Incidents. This one is a classic-style point-and-click game with a grim yet funny sensibility. I've actually been really impressed with how well it balances those tones. On one hand, Unforeseen Incidents takes place in a dystopian future where your slum town is being quarantined due to a mysterious disease. On the other hand, it loves to play with clever, funny ideas and dialogue, much in the same way of the Sierra and LucasArts games that it's emulating. The art style's really good, though it does get a little lo-fi anytime you zoom in on a character, which is disappointing. The voice acting's fun and the writing's sharp. The puzzles run the gamut of deeply simple to pure, unadulterated moon logic, and I won't lie, I had to look a few of their solutions up on the Steam discussion board. But overall, a really fun, engaging point-and-click. If you're a fan of the classics, I'd highly recommend it. Creepy Road. Creepy Road represents a lot of the games that I get on a day-to-day basis. Not terrible to look at, but not really offering anything new either. The controls are decent, and the level variety's pretty fun. But on the other hand, I found it difficult to really recommend this side-scroller to anybody. If you miss the humor and aesthetic of Redneck Rampage, I suppose you'll get something out of it, but it was a pretty firm pass for me. Yokus Island Express. I only got to play the demo of this one, but holy crap, I cannot wait to buy the full game. Yokus Island Express has you playing as a bug mailman, delivering news from one forest dweller to another. The aesthetic is just too lovely, with great use of color, design, and sound. But the real standout of Yoku is its gameplay. It's a wonderful combination of Metroidvania and pinball. In order to get anywhere in the constantly expanding map, you need to unlock paddles and bounce your way from one place to another. I love pinball, and Yoku's Island Express feels so damn good to play. The controls are responsive, and the routes you take to get from one place to another are creatively designed, and like I said, I've only played the demo of this, but it has fully inspired me to try the whole game. Ancestors' Legacy. I've actually been playing this one for a few months on and off. On one hand, this real-time strategy is pretty ordinary gameplay-wise. There isn't a ton that makes it stand out as far as units or strategies are concerned. On the other hand, what it does do, it does competently. There's a lot of satisfying crunch to be had in the combat, and I like that in a strategy war game. What does make Ancestors' Legacy stand out is its use of history. It's based firmly in the Dark Ages, and you have 4 separate campaigns with 4 separate factions: the Vikings, the Anglo-Saxons, the Germans, and the Slavs. The storylines are pretty interesting, even if the factions all feel kind of the same gameplay-wise. The action's pretty fun, and while the visuals aren't breathtaking on any level, they manage to fit some pretty cool set pieces into the mix. Mostly, I think historic wargamers are going to get the most out of this one. The Horus Heresy Legions. Another Warhammer 40k game, and you know I was gonna check it out. Everyone knows that by now. This one's a free-to-play card game, and it does what you'd expect. It rips off Hearthstone. It does it well, to be fair, but there's no denying what this game is. There are some interesting changes, however. Your commander, for example, exists as a unit on the battlefield directly, which can change how you'd strategize or play certain cards. There are also a ton of commanders to choose from, as opposed to the set few that you'd find in Hearthstone. You start with one and have to earn and/or purchase new ones with in-game currency or your credit card. I will say, however, that after a month of playing this, I've had a great time and haven't spent a dime on it. It's really not terribly exploitative. It does a terrific job of making sure you've got lots of opportunities to get new packs of cards and customize your deck. Also, the developers did an amazing job of adapting the Horus heresy storyline to this. Like, they didn't need to include as many characters and details as they did, but fans of Black Library and 40k lore in general are going to be very surprised by the little Easter eggs that they sneak in. Dead Frontier 2. I don't know about this one. On its face, it looks promising. It's got that bleak Silent Hill feel to it. I don't know, though. Right off the bat, a horror MMO sounds so good, but also sounds incredibly tough to pull off. I want it to work, that's for sure, but as it stands, this early access title is less than thrilling. You got the same few zombie types over and over, a really rudimentary combat system, and the same few quest types over and over. If Dead Frontier 2 is going to work in the long run, it needs to recognize the value of horror beyond slowly hitting the same two buttons to kill shambling zombies. It's kind of well-worn territory, and this game is going to need to make some serious changes if it wants to set itself apart. I might revisit it after it leaves early access for a review, if it leaves early access. In this day and age with games, who knows? But I never played the first Dead Frontier, never even heard of it, so maybe there's some promise there. Valkyria Chronicles 4. Oh god, this is good. This is good. I've surprised myself in the past year or so because anime and anime-influenced storylines and games are just not my thing, but I've been eating it up lately. Persona 5, Octopath Traveler, and now this. To be fair, Valkyria Chronicles 4 takes me way back to my childhood days of playing Shining Force on my Sega. It's got a great collection of characters and some damn satisfying strategy combat. Plus, I just adore the fakey World War II aesthetic. These characters were just made to be action figures. They all look so damn good when you send them into battle. I want a figure of each one of them for my shelf right the hell now. The storyline's great too, even if it feels like it goes on forever in between battles. I did a full review for Valkyria Chronicles 4 over at GameSkinny, so check that out if you want to hear my full 2 cents on the topic. But in the meantime, I'm almost inclined to think that this might be top 10 game material. So those are some of the games I played this month. What about you guys? I know plenty of you are going ape over Spider-Man and Tomb Raider. I'm definitely getting to those games, but I've promised myself I wouldn't get either of them until I actually finish God of War, which was put on hold for this month's Geek History. Tell me what you're playing in the comments. I want to hear all about it. Now, make sure to like this video if you liked it. And, frankly, even if you didn't, I'll take a pity like any day of the week. And if you really want to support me, subscribe, and maybe head on over to my Patreon. Anything you can offer only makes it easier for me to keep pumping out this content. Plus, I've got an option now if you want to pay for the right to choose one of my games to review or a topic for Geek History. That's gotta be worth something. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time.
Hey, Daddy, don't sink a little drinky. Daddy gets side down blue. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you.